We'll just go right here.
Perfect.
Does that work?
Oh, you're so much better.
Okay.
I'm so glad
Yes,
you're in it with
I'm
me.
here with you.
I thought you were going
No,
to do
I'm not
that.
going to stand back there. So,
Okay, great.
Rebecca Cox, director of the Blaine County Museum.
Blaine County Historical Museum.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yes.
Very impromptu meeting today.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
So we're sitting here. We are is it July 1st?
July 1st
It is
today.
July 1st today.
Officially 3 days away of the big celebration.
It's hard to believe. So we've got July 4th on Saturday.
Yes.
And so I'm just really curious. We're standing here in front of the Lady Liberty dress. Obviously, the Blaine County Historical Museum, it tracks all of the things that have happened here.
Right.
What is the origin story of the parade? How did this thing start? I read that it's 150 years of some form of 4th of July celebration here in Blaine County.
Absolutely. Hailey has served as the base of the celebration. And I did a little digging beforehand. And so 1883 is always the one that's referenced. It was like the big grand event. It was like week-long celebrations. And our town was started in 1881. But I realized that they were really building the town for the first 2 years. So even in 1882, one of the celebrations on July 4th, they were opening some of these buildings that were newly finished. So 83 was the year that it was like, we're here, everything's going well, the mining was booming, people were having success, and it became an enormous celebration in 1883.
Okay, so that kicks off.
Yes.
And now we're sitting here 2026.
Yes.
We as far as Mr. McKenna from the chamber has told us, potentially 12,000 people
potentially, yes,
will be at the parade this Saturday.
Yes. And what I love about that is it did say in the newspapers often that people from the surrounding regions would come to Hailey for some reason. I did see that. Yes.
They'd come in their horse and buggy.
Buggies.
From Fairfield to Shoshone.
Yes. And of course, the newly established train line was also serving the valley as well.
So Pacific Union, was it Pacific Union at the time?
Oregon Short Line, and then switching to the Union Pacific later on. So that cut through the valley. It brought everyone. It brought, the goods. It brought people. But yeah, Hailey became the place that everybody came together. But what I thought was really amazing is you see the patriotism, the photos, there's these great newspaper articles of all of the events they would do through the week. But they were also proud that they were building America, because out here in the West, like, this is something that they were doing from scratch.
We were still westward expansion.
Right. Yeah. So not only were they proud of their country, they were making their country. So I think they just really appreciated the ability to come together and say, we're doing it.
Yeah. I did find a really interesting article on the Mountain Express that talked about that first parade and shooting fireworks off of carbonate. And it was just a really fun, interesting, article to see the history. Now, 1883 to today, do we know what parts of this celebration have changed and what has stayed true to that original? Do we know kind of?
Absolutely. I think that many things that we do are still in keeping with the tradition that they started. Although I think that especially because people came from so far, they weren't coming for one afternoon. They would come and they would stay for a few days. So, maybe we've shortened some of the festivities a little bit, but the same sort of thing. One of the articles says that it was 1 mile long of the processional down Main Street. Mm-hmm. And then they would end it in Dorsey's Grove, which I'm not exactly sure the location, but then there would be yard games and there would be, eating and all of the festivities, the bands, the live music. And we're still doing that same thing now.
We are.
And the fireworks. But one thing of note is that the private citizens also, they were funding, like the merchants that were, finding success. They were pouring back into the community and saying, we're going to get the best fireworks in the West. They took great pride of saying, we're going to make this the best celebration in Idaho. And so that is something that I think we all still want to jump in and keep giving back to the community.
Oh, I think so. And you and I sort of were talking about that before we hit record here. Mm-hmm. Involvement in your community, volunteering and giving back. And we've got, I think, per capita, one of the highest, nonprofit and we really do give back in a regard. Sometimes that is more financial. Right. And you and I both know that we need to show up too.
Right.
So you sort of touched on that a little bit. Yeah. And when I walked in yesterday, so it is Wednesday today. I walked in yesterday to say, hey, will you do this with me? We had clothes scattered everywhere, the costumes that everyone who participates in the parade are going to put on.
That's right.
How can the community that we care about continue to show up and be involved and just be in person with each other?
Absolutely. Well, I think there's, participation, and it's so great to be able to watch the parade and kind of see it happening, but to contribute is also huge. And so then you find yourself, asking, where can I help, whether it's putting on, an old fashioned costume, or whether it's throwing candy or helping build the float. I think when people participate, then they're connected to it more.
Yeah.
But our valley has, as you said, they've always been givers. There's always been an energy here of
we're very philanthropic, I will
say. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of accomplishment, of like betterment.
Yeah.
And that shows up even in the early years.
Yeah.
This has always been a place that people are doing something.
Well, you said it right. Like the original people were so proud of the valley because they were building something.
Yes.
And I dare say today we still
are.
We're still building something.
Yes.
It looks different, right? It's not an origin up story. It's
right.
We're established, and how do we continue to make this place that we love the place 100%. That we love?
100%. They were a strong community, and they had to be. Main Street burned down twice, and so they had to rebuild. So I think that when we look back, it's a very short history. When we look back and we see like the determination, but also like the joyful moments that they didn't have to, expend all of their money to dress up Main Street and put on their, best clothes and do all the things. It takes effort.
It does.
And so to put effort into your community, then it does something. There's a community spirit, certainly the American spirit.
Yeah.
But I think we're still that strong community. We're still doing it.
So 250 years of America, 150-ish years of this celebration here. Mm-hmm. Why does it still matter?
I think it matters because of the people. So this is a nation's celebration. 250 years. That's something worth celebrating. It's commemorative. It's our generation's like big America moment, probably, to hit that 250 mark. But our community is everyone that we see every day. It's the businesses that we go into. When we see them go down in the parade and we see their logo and their sign and we're all cheering, and that's our everyday community.
Yeah.
So it still matters that, the nation, it's wonderful to think of America and who we are. But here in the Wood River Valley, it's who we see every day. It's who we see at the coffee shop and who we support and who we notice. And so anytime, as you and I were saying, anytime that we can physically come together and be together and see each other and just kind of take that pause to recognize, like, this is our lives right here. We're living it and we're pouring into it. And it's a moment to celebrate for sure.
And we want, the generation that comes up behind us to cherish these traditions that we've carried on for so long.
That's why I'm recruiting all the kids. We've got a lot of volunteers, the students, high schoolers, younger ones, because these are their memories. And I want them to remember, that their parents were pouring into the community as well.
So how does somebody who might see this, or how do they participate with the museum? What ways can they help out here?
The Historical Museum, we serve all of Blaine County. So it's not just history, although history lovers, will find us, and we'd love to have volunteer projects. But really, there's so many events, as you said, throughout the year in the Wood River Valley, that whatever your interests are, you can show up and say, how can I help? Can I do this physically? Can I help network? Can I get you connected with someone else? It's really just being thoughtful of just saying, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I'm passionate about in my community. And then asking how to help.
Yep.
I
promise. It's that simple. Just asking, how can I help?
It's amazing how many people, would do that and say, yes, we would love this. We would love your help with this.
Wonderful. So before we wrap up,
yes,
we're standing in front of this beautiful display case. What are we looking at here?
So this is just a little touch of some patriotic things that we have here in the museum. This artifact here I think is really special. It's in 1945 when World War II ended. Mm-hmm. This was a very beautiful young lady who lived here in Hailey, and her father was so proud the war was over, and he bought his daughter this Lady Liberty dress, and she wore it in the 4th of July parade to celebrate the end of World War II.
That's pretty fantastic, isn't it?
It is.
And it's in such great condition.
It is. And it was custom made, specially made just for her, with the cape, with the stars. And she wore it proudly.
Do we have any idea what the cost would have been when that was made?
Oh, I don't know. In 1945, I have no idea. But I know that she was
handmade.
proud.
Yeah, very cool.
lined with silk with these beautiful stripes. And she donated it recently, just a couple years ago. She held on to it with the memory of her dad, and now we have it here.
Oh, that's such a neat story.
Yeah.
All right, so the parade's Saturday.
Yep, show up.
It starts at
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock.
Straight up.
Okay.
It'll start with the whole historic reflection.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Well, Rebecca, I so appreciate the time today. Thank you for sharing the story of the 4th of July here in Sun Valley.
Absolutely, Zach. Thank you.
You did fantastic. How good did you do?
You're a natural. It's very helpful to talk to someone so easy to talk to.